How to survive a heart attack alone. After 67, life-saving tips. Every senior must know. The reality of facing a medical emergency when entirely by oneself can be profoundly unsettling. Particularly concerning is the prospect of a heart attack occurring when no one else is present to offer immediate aid. This is not merely a hypothetical scenario confined to dramatic fiction. It's an unfortunate reality that unfolds more frequently than many might imagine, especially for those in their senior years. There's a common yet dangerously misleading misconception that one will either have ample time to react or that assistance will naturally materialize from an unseen benefactor. However, the stark truth reveals that the initial minutes following the sudden onset of a heart attack are unequivocally the most pivotal. The actions taken, or indeed not taken, within this brief critical window can fundamentally determine the outcome, often meaning the profound difference between life and death, between recovery and irreversible damage. Despite the inherent terror of such a situation, there is a profoundly reassuring truth. Even if you reside alone or spend a significant portion of your time in solitude, survival during a heart attack is entirely possible. The paramount key lies in swift, decisive action and a clear, pre-existing understanding of the precise steps to take. This comprehensive guide will meticulously outline 7 critical actions that are imperative the instant a heart attack commences and you find yourself without immediate assistance. These aren't complex medical procedures demanding specialized training or sophisticated equipment that only professionals possess. Rather, they are simple, profoundly practical, and potentially life-saving measures accessible to anyone. The ultimate requirement is preparation, mentally and practically, and the ability to maintain a degree of calm amidst an escalating crisis. We will dissect each step, exploring how to accurately identify the earliest, often subtle warning signs, what immediate medical intervention you can perform on yourself, strategies to mitigate strain on your struggling heart, and even seemingly minor actions that could afford you precious minutes. Minutes that are absolutely vital for securing the professional help you desperately need. It is highly recommended to engage with this information fully, remaining attentive until the conclusion, as the final insights shared often comprise the most overlooked aspects, yet they hold the profound potential to be the definitive factors in saving your life. Do not defer the acquisition of this vital knowledge. Understanding your body's urgent messages is a proactive step that could avert catastrophe. Let us now embark on this essential journey of preparedness. Recognizing the earliest warning signs. The first and arguably most critical step in surviving a heart attack, especially when alone, is an intimate understanding of what it truly feels like. This awareness must extend beyond the stereotypical chest pain depicted in movies, encompassing sensations throughout your entire body. Most individuals incorrectly anticipate a dramatic, crushing agony in the chest that leaves no room for doubt. However, the reality is far more insidious. Authentic heart attacks frequently initiate with much subtler symptoms, often so mild they are easily dismissed or attributed to less serious ailments, until it is tragically too late. What you are actively looking for is a deep, uncomfortable pressure, a pervasive squeezing, or a sense of fullness in the very center of your chest. This sensation might manifest as though something immensely heavy is resting upon you, or as if your chest cavity is gradually being filled with a hardening substance like cement. Crucially, these sensations may not be constant. They might wax and wane, leading you to momentarily believe the issue has resolved itself or was never serious. But if this discomfort persists for more than a few minutes, or if it repeatedly returns, it is absolutely vital not to second-guess its significance. Err on the side of caution. Beyond the chest, other early and critical indicators demand your attention. Shortness of breath is a common symptom, sometimes even occurring without any accompanying chest pain. You might suddenly feel as if you've just exerted yourself by ascending a steep hill, despite sitting completely still. The feeling can be one of profound fatigue, an inexplicable weariness that blankets your entire being. Furthermore, pain can radiate to other parts of the body, commonly felt in the left arm, but also potentially in the shoulder, neck, jaw, or even the upper back. Some individuals report feeling lightheaded, experiencing a sudden outbreak of a cold sweat, or feeling profoundly nauseated and dizzy. It is particularly important to note that in certain demographics, specifically older adults and women, the presentation can be atypical. For these individuals, the pain may manifest more as a generalized pressure in the back or stomach, rather than the classic chest-centric discomfort. Consider the insightful experience of Richard, a 74-year-old gentleman. One quiet morning, as he sat at his kitchen table enjoying a cup of coffee, he experienced a strange, unusual tightness beneath his collarbone. Initially, he almost dismissed it as a bout of heartburn, a common ailment. But then a more alarming symptom arose. He found he couldn't take a full, satisfying breath, and inexplicably his hands began to perspire with a cold sweat. Richard, with remarkable presence of mind, recalled having read that not all heart attacks begin with dramatic pain. Instead of brushing off these disconcerting feelings as mere indigestion or age-related aches, he acted immediately. That singular decision, born of awareness, may have been the very factor that saved his life. The human body possesses an innate wisdom. It frequently whispers its warnings before it resorts to screaming in agony. In the context of a heart attack, these subtle whispers represent your only genuine opportunity to take proactive action before irreversible damage to the heart muscle commences. If you were to passively await the archetypal chest-clutching drama, often sensationalized in media, you might already be too late. Therefore, the next time something feels unequivocally off, especially if it's a combination of unusual pressure, uncharacteristic shortness of breath, or an unfamiliar profound fatigue, immediately cease whatever you're doing. Resist the perilous urge to tough it out. Do not attempt to rationalize it away as merely indigestion or a passing discomfort. Recognizing these early, often subtle warning signs is your absolute first and best shot at survival. Treat every suspicious symptom with the utmost seriousness, even if it initially appears insignificant. Your very life could depend on this crucial discernment. Calling emergency services immediately. Once the suspicion forms in your mind that a heart attack might be starting, even if it's just a nagging doubt, the very next imperative action you must take, without a millisecond of hesitation, is to contact emergency services. For most, this means dialing 911 or your local equivalent. This is not the moment to passively wait to see if the symptoms might miraculously dissipate on their own. Absolutely do not attempt to drive yourself to a hospital. This is one of the most perilous choices an individual can make during a cardiac event. And under no circumstances should you assume you are merely overreacting or being overly dramatic. Making that emergency call is not only the swiftest conduit to professional help, but fundamentally the single most effective thing you can do to preserve your life. A heart attack is a severe medical crisis. It is not something you can simply walk off or ameliorate with casual rest. In this critical scenario, every single minute is immeasurably valuable. The longer your vital heart muscle is deprived of oxygen-rich blood, the more extensive and irreversible the damage becomes. However, by initiating that call to 911, you trigger an immediate, expertly coordinated response. Trained professionals begin their preparations even as they are dispatched and en route to your location. They are bringing with them not just transportation, but specialized equipment, potent medications, and critically, the advanced medical expertise necessary to stabilize you, treat complications, and potentially keep you alive should your heart cease beating on the way to the emergency room. What's more, heart attack symptoms have a notorious tendency to worsen rapidly and unpredictably. If your condition deteriorates quickly, which is a common occurrence, you will likely be incapacitated and unable to help yourself further. This is precisely why attempting to drive yourself is fraught with danger. You could lose consciousness while operating a vehicle, causing a severe accident that endangers not only your life but others. Furthermore, self-transport invariably delays specialized care, as you would arrive at the hospital's general entrance rather than directly into the hands of a waiting emergency medical team. It is paramount to allow the professionals to come directly to you, fully equipped and prepared for the crisis at hand. Consider the poignant experience of Linda, aged 78. She first noticed a strange, persistent ache developing in her left shoulder, an unusual discomfort. This was swiftly followed by a disorienting wave of nausea and the sudden onset of a cold, clammy sweat. Her initial instinct was to reach out to her son, perhaps hoping he could assess the situation or drive her. But then a crucial memory surfaced. A nurse, during a routine checkup years prior, had imparted a vital piece of advice. "If you're alone and suspect you might be having a heart attack," the nurse had said, "call 911 first. Your family can be informed later." Linda heeded that life-saving counsel. She made the call. By the time the ambulance arrived, her symptoms had regrettably intensified significantly, but the emergency medical team was fully prepared. They swiftly assessed her, began immediate stabilization measures right there in her home, and ensured her safe transport. That single, decisive phone call undeniably saved her life. It is crucial to understand that you do not need to be absolutely certain you are experiencing a heart attack before calling for help. Emergency dispatchers are trained professionals. They will not be upset or annoyed if it turns out to be a less severe condition. In fact, they much prefer to send help that ultimately wasn't critically needed than to miss a precious opportunity to save a life. As a proactive measure, ensure your phone is always kept somewhere easily accessible, especially if you live alone. Should symptoms arise and you find yourself struggling to speak clearly due to pain or shortness of breath, remember that most smartphones have an emergency call feature, often accessible even from a locked screen, that can connect you directly to emergency services. Familiarize yourself with this shortcut on your specific device and be ready to use it without hesitation. Your ability to connect with help is the bridge between isolation and intervention. Chewing an aspirin, slowly and calmly. After you have made that crucial call to emergency services, the next most powerful and immediate action you can take to positively influence your survival is remarkably simple. Chew an aspirin. The emphasis here is on chewing it, not merely swallowing it whole. Perform this action slowly and deliberately, even if your hands are trembling with fear or discomfort. If you have access to a standard, non-enteric-coated 395 mg aspirin tablet, often referred to as a full-strength or adult aspirin, and you have no known allergies to aspirin or are not currently taking blood thinners that would contraindicate its use, this single step can dramatically increase your chances of surviving a heart attack. Aspirin works its life-saving magic primarily by thinning the blood. Its core function in this context is to help slow down or actively prevent the growth of a blood clot that is most likely obstructing one of your coronary arteries, the very root cause of the heart attack. By chewing the tablet rather than swallowing it whole, you facilitate a much faster absorption of the aspirin into your bloodstream through the mucous membranes, in your mouth and throat. Numerous medical studies have unequivocally demonstrated that this accelerated absorption can buy valuable minutes, sometimes even enough time to partially restore some crucial blood flow to the starving heart muscle before professional help arrives at your doorstep. While it is generally advised not to take aspirin on an empty stomach to prevent irritation, in the dire circumstances of a suspected heart attack, the immediate and profound risk of a life-threatening blood clot far outweighs any concerns about mild gastric discomfort. Furthermore, it is important to avoid enteric-coated or delayed-release aspirin if possible, as these are designed to dissolve slowly in the intestines, delaying the crucial rapid effect you need. However, if an enteric-coated aspirin is genuinely all you have readily available, do not hesitate. Chew it anyway. The priority is to initiate its anti-clotting effects as swiftly as humanly possible. Let us consider the real-life experience of Joe, a spry 72-year-old. One particular morning, he felt an alarming tightness that began in his chest and gradually spread to his neck. A flicker of memory reminded him that he kept a bottle of aspirin in his kitchen cabinet. With a steadying breath, he retrieved one, then sat down calmly and chewed it thoroughly while he waited for the paramedics to arrive. He meticulously followed this advice, a small act that had an immense impact. Later, his cardiologist revealed that this seemingly minor action had significantly reduced the extent of damage to his heart muscle. That little pill, his doctor explained, kept things from escalating into something far worse. For anyone living alone, taking preventative measures is paramount. Ensure you have aspirin readily accessible in multiple, easy-to-reach locations. This might include your bedside nightstand, a prominent kitchen drawer, or even tucked securely in your wallet. Crucially, regularly check the expiration dates and replace any outdated medication. It is also a wise precaution to inform your loved ones or a trusted neighbor where you store your aspirin, in case they ever need to assist you during an emergency. This seemingly small act of preparation and intervention might appear too simple to be profoundly effective, but it is deeply grounded in medical science and is a standard practice taught to and implemented by emergency responders worldwide. Chewing aspirin during the onset of a heart attack is far more than just a mere tip. It is a proven medical intervention, and in those critical first minutes, it can quite literally be the pivotal difference between walking out of the hospital days later or never making it there at all. Sitting or lying down to protect your heart. Once you have successfully contacted emergency services and, if appropriate, chewed an aspirin, your next critical task is profoundly simple yet absolutely vital. Stop moving. Immediately, sit or lie down in the safest, most comfortable position you can possibly manage. This is unequivocally not the time for pacing restlessly, gathering personal belongings, or unlocking doors unless it is an absolute, unavoidable necessity, a point we will address shortly. Any additional physical exertion or effort, no matter how minor it might seem, places an increased and potentially catastrophic strain on your heart, which is already severely struggling to pump blood and receive sufficient oxygen. The ideal posture when waiting for paramedics is to sit upright with your back fully supported, your feet flat on the floor, and your arms resting loosely at your sides. This position helps to minimize your heart's workload, allowing it to function with less effort during this critical period. If, however, you begin to feel faint, lightheaded, or acutely dizzy, the safest option is to lie down on your side with your head slightly elevated, perhaps supported by a pillow or folded blanket. Crucially, resist the ingrained urge to power through the discomfort or pain. That resilient mindset, which may have served you commendably in other challenging aspects of life, is a dangerous risk you simply cannot afford in this moment. Pushing yourself could exacerbate your condition, potentially leading to cardiac arrest. It is common for individuals to feel a sense of embarrassment or awkwardness when calling for help, and then simply sitting there seemingly doing nothing. However, let there be no mistake. In this specific context, doing nothing is, in fact, doing something immensely beneficial. This stillness provides your beleaguered heart with a vital opportunity to stabilize itself. It helps to naturally slow your breathing, which in turn reduces overall physiological stress, and it prevents your body from rapidly burning through its already limited and precious oxygen supply. Conserving energy is paramount. Consider the illuminating story of Alice, an 81-year-old woman. When she first felt a profound pressure radiating across her chest, her immediate instinct, deeply ingrained from a lifetime of productivity, was to clean up the kitchen and get herself together. Yet, she vividly recalled a conversation with her doctor who had wisely advised, "If you ever think it's your heart, sit down. Everything else can wait." Alice, with a conscious effort, listened to that inner voice of reason. She slowly sank into her favorite, familiar recliner and resolutely waited for help to arrive. That conscious act of stillness, she later learned from her medical team, likely prevented her symptoms from escalating into a full and devastating cardiac arrest. Therefore, should you ever feel those insidious symptoms creeping in, the telltale pressure, shortness of breath, or disorienting dizziness, do not, under any circumstances, attempt to finish whatever task you were engaged in. Stop precisely where you are or move as minimally as possible to reach a safer, more comfortable resting spot. Sit or lie perfectly still. Focus on breathing slowly and deliberately, and allow your body to dedicate its entire remaining energy to one solitary, overriding job: surviving. And here is a simple yet often overlooked detail. If you are seated on a chair without armrests, resist the temptation to slump. Strive to keep your spine supported and your chest open, which facilitates easier, less strained breathing. The more relaxed, supported, and upright your position, the less effort your struggling heart has to expend. Every small reduction in workload is a victory in this fight for time and life, unlocking your door for emergency responders. If you retain sufficient strength and mental clarity after making the crucial emergency call and settling into a safe, resting position, one of the most remarkably helpful yet frequently forgotten actions you can take is to unlock your front door. This might appear to be an inconsequential detail, a trivial step in the grand scheme of a medical crisis. However, in an emergency situation where every single second is profoundly critical, a locked door can introduce a dangerous and unnecessary delay in receiving life-saving treatment. Time in these moments is literally everything. While paramedics are highly trained professionals who possess the necessary equipment and protocols to force entry if absolutely required, forced entry comes with significant drawbacks. It invariably adds precious minutes to their arrival at your side, minutes that your heart, struggling under immense strain, might simply not have. Furthermore, breaking down a door or window causes property damage, and the sudden violent intrusion could potentially startle or even injure you if you happen to be in close proximity to the entry point. By proactively unlocking your door, you allow emergency responders to walk directly in, unimpeded, and commence immediate care. This seemingly minor act could effectively shave several invaluable minutes off their response time, minutes that can dramatically alter the trajectory of a heart attack. For individuals who live alone, especially those residing in apartments or within gated communities, it is prudent to think through these logistical details long before a crisis ever strikes. Is your main door easy to unlock and open from the inside, even with trembling hands or diminished strength? Is your address clearly visible and well lit from the street, ensuring first responders can locate you without delay? Do you have a trusted neighbor or a close family member who has access to a spare key? Or could you consider a secure medical lockbox for external key access? These are practical considerations that seldom seem urgent until they suddenly become of paramount importance. Consider the proactive example of Paul, a 76-year-old resident of a small condominium. When he began experiencing the onset of symptoms, he initiated the emergency call to 911, chewed an aspirin, and then, with a clear focus, proceeded to unlock his front door. Remarkably, he completed all 3 critical actions in under 2 minutes. The paramedics who attended to him later confirmed that his singular act of unlocking the door allowed them to reach him approximately 30 seconds faster than they otherwise would have, simultaneously saving them from the need for a potentially disruptive forced entry. That's honestly the last thing I would have thought of in that moment, he later recounted, reflecting on the experience. But it might have been precisely what enabled me to get help just in the nick of time. It is important to emphasize a crucial caveat. If making your way to the door feels overly risky, if it exacerbates your symptoms, or if you feel unsteady and fear a fall, then do not attempt it. Your personal safety and remaining still take precedence. In such a scenario, prioritize staying seated or lying down and focus on your controlled breathing. However, if you are situated close to the door and feel adequately steady and strong enough to reach it safely, then by all means proceed to unlock it. As a further layer of preparedness, particularly for those living alone or facing mobility challenges, consider investing in a smart lock system with remote access capabilities or a dedicated medical lockbox for your key, which emergency services can securely access. This small, proactive act of preparation sends an unspoken but powerful message to the dedicated individuals rushing to save you. You are ready, you have done your part, and now it is their turn to complete the rest. Using your phone's speaker or medical ID features. In the terrifying isolation of a heart attack when you are alone, your smartphone transcends its everyday function as a communication device. It transforms into an indispensable lifeline. One of the most intelligent and effective ways to utilize it in that critical moment is by immediately switching to speakerphone mode. This feature offers a multitude of benefits. It liberates your hands, allowing you to focus entirely on your breathing and maintaining as much calm as possible without the added physical strain of needing to grip your phone tightly or hold it pressed against your ear. When you are under immense physical and emotional distress, even the seemingly simple act of holding an object to your ear can inadvertently constrict your chest, making it harder to breathe and potentially worsening feelings of panic. Using speakerphone not only significantly reduces this physical burden, but also provides the emergency dispatcher with a clearer, unobstructed auditory channel to hear your voice, even if you suddenly become too weak or breathless to speak with clarity. Moreover, speakerphone functionality allows the dispatcher to listen for subtle yet critical background cues regarding your condition. They can monitor your breathing patterns, detect any movements or sounds indicating a worsening state, and even discern the nuance in your tone of voice. all invaluable information that guides their response and understanding of your evolving emergency. Beyond the immediate utility of speakerphone, nearly every modern smartphone now incorporates another equally critical feature: your emergency medical ID. On Apple iPhones, this vital information is accessible even from the lock screen, typically by tapping Emergency and then Medical ID. Android phones generally offer a similar feature, often found within emergency settings or health apps, also designed for lock screen access. This digital repository holds crucial personal health information such as your age, known allergies, current medications, and pre-existing medical conditions. Should you lose consciousness before paramedics arrive, this readily available data can save invaluable time and profoundly guide their initial decisions regarding your immediate care. Without this information, medical professionals may have to proceed with caution or delay certain treatments, leading to potentially adverse outcomes. Consider the swift intervention made possible by Susan, a 79-year-old woman's foresight. She tragically lost consciousness just moments before emergency help arrived at her home. However, because her phone had her medical ID meticulously set up and easily accessible, the paramedics were able to instantly ascertain that she was diabetic and, critically, allergic to penicillin. This immediate access to her medical history prevented them from administering medication that could have exacerbated her condition or caused a dangerous allergic reaction. Furthermore, they were able to quickly contact her daughter using the emergency contact details also listed within her medical ID, providing vital information and reassurance. Setting up this vital information takes less than 5 minutes of your time, and once entered, it remains perpetually available. It should include your full name, date of birth, any major chronic conditions you manage, all medications you regularly take, including dosages, any known allergies, and at least 1 or 2 primary emergency contact persons. This feature is not exclusively for the tech-savvy. It is a fundamental safety tool for anyone who might one day find themselves in need of help when they are no longer able to speak for themselves. Therefore, should you ever feel those first ominous signs of a heart attack beginning, make immediate use of your phone's speakerphone feature. Stay connected with the dispatcher, allowing their calm voice, steady instructions, and constant reassuring presence to make the terrifying waiting period less daunting. And in the tragic event that something prevents you from speaking before help finally arrives, your meticulously prepared phone might still speak for you, relaying critical information when you no longer can. This small act of digital preparedness can provide a crucial voice when your own has failed. Slowing your breath to steady your heart. In the midst of a heart attack, it is an entirely natural and understandable human response for panic to threaten to overwhelm you. Your chest feels an agonizing tightness, your thoughts race wildly, disconnected and terrifying, and every passing second seems to amplify the internal chaos. However, even in this profound moment of crisis, you possess one final powerful tool: your breath. And if you employ it with conscious intent and skill, it can calm your overactive nervous system just enough to give your struggling heart a significantly better chance at maintaining a stable rhythm. Controlled breathing in this scenario is not about magically curing the heart attack itself. Its purpose is far more immediate and tactical. It is about preventing your body from spiraling into a full-blown physiological and psychological state of shock while professional medical help is en route. The more intensely anxious and panicked you become, the faster and more erratically your heart may beat, placing even greater strain on an already compromised organ. Conversely, by consciously slowing and regulating your breath, you can gently but effectively encourage that racing heart rhythm to slow down. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system, often called the rest and digest system, which can counterbalance the fight or flight response triggered by stress, thereby reducing cardiac workload. You don't need to master complex yoga breathing techniques or specialized meditation practices. A simple yet incredibly effective method involves focusing on a specific rhythm. Inhale slowly and deeply through your nose for approximately 4 seconds. Hold that breath for a brief moment, perhaps 1 to 2 seconds. Then gently and slowly exhale through your mouth for a count of 6 seconds, allowing all the air to leave your lungs. Repeat this focused breathing pattern. By concentrating on this singular, steady rhythm, you provide your body with a tangible anchor, something consistent and predictable to focus on amidst the internal tumult. This practice can significantly help in preventing your heart from descending into dangerous arrhythmias, irregular heartbeats, which are often triggered or worsened by severe stress and anxiety. Consider the remarkable resilience of Frank, an 83-year-old gentleman. When the excruciating chest pain of his heart attack first struck, he felt an overwhelming sensation, as if he were literally drowning in a sea of fear. But then a vivid memory resurfaced, a simple breathing exercise his doctor had diligently taught him during a routine checkup, emphasizing its benefits for general stress reduction. Frank, with immense willpower, consciously focused on each individual breath, maintaining his stillness, and with each slow exhalation, he deliberately worked to release the grip of panic. By the time the paramedics finally arrived, his heart, though still in a state of crisis, was unstable but had not escalated into full cardiac arrest. "I just kept thinking to myself," he later recounted with a reflective gaze, "stay calm, stay alive." He attributed this internal mantra and the breathing exercise to helping him maintain control. This controlled breathing technique is not something to be practiced only in a crisis. You can, and indeed should, practice this method anytime and anywhere. When you are resting peacefully, when you are feeling a tinge of anxiety during your day, or even idly while watching television. The more familiar and ingrained this breathing rhythm becomes, the more instinctively your body will recall and return to it when the stakes are monumentally high. While your breath alone cannot magically repair blocked arteries or cure the underlying cause of a heart attack, it can undeniably buy you precious time. It helps to ensure a more consistent flow of oxygen throughout your body, and critically, it helps your heart to hold on, to maintain a more stable rhythm until professional medical intervention can begin. And sometimes, in those agonizing final moments before help arrives, that slight edge, that small measure of internal control, is the only distinction you truly need to bridge the gap between peril and rescue. Stay still. Stay alive. Final thoughts and lasting preparations. Ultimately, navigating and surviving a heart attack when you are entirely alone is rarely, if ever, a matter of sheer luck. It is a profound testament to the power of preparation, acute personal awareness, and the ability to enact calm, decisive actions in the face of overwhelming fear. The 7 steps meticulously outlined within this guide, while appearing simple or straightforward on their own, collectively forge an incredibly powerful chain of interventions that can, quite literally, save your life. To reiterate and firmly imprint these vital actions, first, cultivate an acute awareness to recognize the earliest and often subtle warning signs. Your body may be sending, moving beyond the cinematic stereotype of chest pain. Second, act without a second's hesitation to call emergency services immediately. Yazir, acknowledging that prompt professional intervention is your greatest ally. Third, if medically appropriate, chew an aspirin slowly and calmly, understanding its critical role in reducing clot formation. Fourth, sit or lie down to conserve your strength and reduce your heart's workload, resisting any urge to exert yourself. Fifth, whenever safely possible, unlock your door for emergency responders, eliminating any delays in their access to you. Sixth, wisely, utilize your phone's speakerphone and ensure your medical ID features are fully updated, allowing communication and critical information to flow even if you cannot speak. And seventh, actively slow your breath to steady your heart and calm your nervous system, providing crucial physiological stability during the wait. Each and every one of these measures, whether seemingly minor or overtly critical, contributes to buying you a little more time. Each step empowers you with a little more control over an otherwise terrifying and uncontrollable situation. And each action implicitly conveys a deeply important message: that even when you find yourself in profound solitude, you are not, under any circumstances, powerless. A heart attack can indeed conjure the most frightening sensation of isolation and vulnerability. Yet by understanding and implementing these actionable steps, you are reminded that you are far from truly helpless, not even for a fleeting second. You possess accessible tools, you are now equipped with invaluable knowledge, and critically, you now have a concrete plan. This framework is particularly vital for seniors, a demographic that may experience atypical symptoms and often lives independently, making self-rescue strategies paramount. As you reflect on these insights, consider what stood out most profoundly to you today. Was there a particular step you had never considered before, or perhaps one that you now perceive in an entirely new, more urgent light? Take a moment to think about how you can integrate this essential knowledge into your own life, and perhaps even more importantly, how you can share it with someone you deeply care about. This shared wisdom might not only save your life, but could very well save theirs too. The knowledge imparted here is a gift of preparedness, a testament to the fact that proactive learning can be the ultimate defense against life's most unexpected and challenging health crises.